Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! Out by Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. When I got up this morning, I got right with the Lord a little bit, and then I turned my Bluetooth on, okay? And it came up Iron Maiden, Leonard Skinner, and Ozzy Osbourne, and I said, ball game's over, boys. We winning this thing.
Reddit, Dit to Do, and welcome into More Important Issues. It is Wednesday, December 29th, or December 30th. Game day.
It's game day.
Game day.
You like it? You excited? You
Oh,
nervous?
I am pumped. You know what? Like, I'm pumped about game day, but what I'm really pumped about is orange jerseys.
And Cuonzo getting twaxed.
You got your mic on?
Dumb. God, I'm the worst.
We're gonna start fining you.
I need to be fine.
We're gonna start
I
fining
need
Landon.
some sort of accountability because I'm awful. Terrible.
Anytime the mic doesn't come on, we're gonna fine Landon.
Absolutely terrible.
And we'll do like some kind of like it can go to a charity of like, I don't know, like CC's Pizza or something.
Maybe it's just part of the show. I just don't plug in on mic.
That's fun. That's fun.
It's probably better. People are probably better off not listening to me, so that's probably fine.
Tennessee though, I know you're excited.
I'm pumped, dude.
You're not even nervous. Like, you put money on him. You don't sweat it.
Don't sweat it. Just twaxing Cuonzo. What is that 3.5? Don't you just love that?
I'm not even looking at the spread because I don't even want to get.
I mean, that's.
I don't even want to think about touching it. Also, you know something I realized last week though? I've already bet on him. I put that $50 of that bonus, that boost, at the beginning of the year.
Yeah,
the very first game.
So you broke it, so you might as well just keep.
But I feel like now that I've said it so many times,
because you didn't know you actually did. So.
I'm in a real crossroads.
That dude has 8 billion armbands on.
I love it. It's like the old NCAA games.
Like, why?
Sweat. Catch all the sweat.
You think he's taking all the freshmen? They give him 2 packs, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna need your armbands tonight."
I just love that an equipment manager has to put all of those in his locker. He's like, he's not even gonna wear them all, and then he wears them all. He's like, wow, he wore them all. I'm not even mad. I'm impressed.
Why don't you just wear long sleeves?
Yes. Also, it's. I mean, I love the.
Does it make you better?
Which I know you wore them too. The leg bands. I'm like, where are you keeping sweat off of there? Your feet?
Yeah, big leg band guy.
I
didn't do multiple leg bands because that's slaw.
Slaw, coming out with the hip terms.
Yeah, I'm getting hip in my old age.
I like it. Pruitt is slaw. I'm using it in a sentence for you guys that don't know what it means. I'm not saying. I'm just using it in a sentence.
Slaw means slaw.
Think about what coleslaw tastes like. That's what it means.
It's gross.
That's what it means. That's exactly what it means.
You don't want to be slaw. How about that?
No, absolutely not. Hope you guys have had another good week. Some of y'all may be off work, maybe enjoying some time with your family. I don't know. Maybe. It is almost New Year's. It is almost 2021. I like what you said, that the only certainty is uncertainty.
Yeah.
No one knows what's going to happen.
Or what it means.
It's
provocative.
No one has any idea. I mean, you've got guys in the transfer portal. We're going to talk about that. But I think what's interesting is that some of these guys in the transfer portal, I think most of them are gone. But not all of them are gone. Just because they're in there.
Right, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. You kind of assume that once they go into the portal, they're like, oh, they're leaving. Mm-hmm. But they do have the option to come back.
They do have the option to come back. And I mean...
And
Tennessee's not the only team in the country or the SEC that doesn't know what their roster is going to look like next year.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be interesting to see how the portal plays out with everybody, but especially Tennessee. We're also going to talk about some of the 2022 in-state recruits and what that class is going to look like. There's some high-profile targets on there that Tennessee needs to figure out how to lock up the borders.
Some legacy guys.
Two I was talking about specifically. And then we're going to preview the Missouri game tonight. Vols in Columbia. The show me state. Is that it? Yeah. Geography guys.
Columbia, Missouri.
We
not
know that.
Columbia, South Carolina.
Correct.
Yeah.
We're on Columbia. They're in the
there's-
show me state. Like I said, we're big geography guys. We know that stuff.
yep.
So we know where Columbia, Missouri's at. We could definitely point it out on a map.
We hope to go there one day when COVID's over.
Hope is a weird word to use, but yeah, we would like to see a game there.
We will eventually see a game.
Are you getting a rock?
Oh, I'm taking a rock.
Isn't that funny that I could go in there and take a rock? Like, that's their big reward for 4 years of playing football there, and I could just put it in my pocket and leave.
Yeah.
We should definitely take a rock.
Or I got a better idea. We could take in a rock and put it there. And every time it's shown, they're like, my rock's right there.
And like, not
A
even
rock
like
that's not supposed to be. It's like a.
we'll take some Tennessee limestone.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. We'll planting some. I don't know.
Plant our seed.
Yeah, that's gross, but yeah, I like that. I like that idea. I think we should take a rock and like leave a rock, take a rock.
Okay, yeah.
Like a leave one, take one kind of deal.
Okay.
So I think that's exactly what we should do. Paying it forward. Paying it forward to Missouri. If we're real nice,
We're trying to make you better.
right. If we were real nice, we would replace that terrible statue, that tiger statue. Maybe if we find the tiger in Knoxville, we can take that one.
What's worse, the tiger statue or the big cock at South Carolina?
At least like that statue, the big cock statue. Look, I don't know what else to call it.
I kind of set
Like
you
it-
up there. You couldn't call it anything
Right.
else.
At least it looks like a well-made statue. Now it looks stupid.
It looks like the wild eagle.
Yeah, but at least it's well made. This one looks like they were like, "Can your 4-year-old son's good with clay? Can he make this statue
it
for
the
us?" That tiger.
Ronaldo statue?
Yes, that's exactly what it looks like. The Ronaldo version of a tiger. Yeah, exactly. So I got at least give credit to South Carolina. What was like $1 million? I mean, they got their money's worth, I guess.
I guess.
Missouri,
They got what they wanted. They wanted this
giant.
gamecock, and that's what they got.
I hope Missouri got paid for putting that statue on their campus. It looks that bad.
Oh, we need to play the music video.
Okay, I can
Mizzou.
get that. Yeah,
The
I can-
Mizzou music video.
I can get that going.
Yeah.
I can figure that out for us. What's it called? Do you know?
We Are Mizzou.
That's a terrible name.
I don't know.
That mentions Kim
We
English
Are
in it, doesn't
Mizzou.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's wearing a Kim English jersey.
Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, yeah, we can do that. We'll pull up. We'll get that at maybe the outro today.
Okay. I like it.
Is it called the Mizzou Rap? Is that it?
Probably. Do you have a...
Oh yeah, can you see it?
That's
You-
definitely not it.
That's not it. Yeah, that looks somehow trashier than the video you're thinking of.
I think that's it.
That's We Are KU.
Oh.
So that's the response to
Oh.
We Are Mizzou, I guess.
Maybe they took it down. That's probably a smart
Nope,
idea.
here it is.
Oh, there.
I just spelled Mizzou wrong. So
Oh, okay.
It's got a U at the end, guys.
What'd you do?
Just an O.
Mizzou?
Mizzou.
Mizzou.
That sounds better than Mizzou, I think.
Maybe they're like combining Missouri and Cuonzo.
Yeah.
Mizzou.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they're doing.
God, we're just helping them out.
We are. We are throwing them bones.
Yeah.
Throwing them bones. All right.
Let's get into the show a little bit.
Let's do it. We are going to talk about bowl season, by the way. I won some money last night. No big deal. I'm just trying to pay for Christmas next year.
Yeah.
I'm saving up for
the
Christmas.
kids.
That's it. Big kid guy.
Hopefully you give me a gift next year.
I got you. I'll get you something. I'll get you something. I was going to get something for the show. I may still. I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
But I don't know if it'd be for you. Like, you probably wouldn't care. But, I mean, you care. But you're like, it's like socks. You're like, I mean, I needed these, but I don't want
It's a
them.
thought.
Exactly. We're going to do some NFL Power Rankings questions. We'll get to those. Hopefully you ask them ahead of time. If not, drop them in the chat. We'll do our best to answer them. We'll be in the chats. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube will be in them with you guys. So just look for them there. And then today we got a new little segment. Favorite New Year's stories. Favorite New Year's stories.
Just your favorite New
I
Year's
just
story.
read that totally incorrect. I read that incorrectly. I have best stories from
From New Year's that
No, like
That has
this
nothing
year.
to do with you.
No,
Oh.
like this year, like the best stories of this year. I thought this was like a recap.
Okay,
I thought this
okay.
was a show recap. I apologize.
We can do that next time.
Perfect. All right. And then we've got our favorite segment, Stupidity is an Epidemic, and I've got a good one. I can't wait to talk about it.
Can't wait.
Cannot
Guys, go check out our sponsors, Tennessee Tap House, Hound Dogs, and Blue Water Climate Control. Blue Water Climate Control will get you taken care of in the cold. So go check them out. Let's get into it.
Let's do it. All right.
Football time. Like I get so excited for the show, and then we have to talk about this, but you have to talk about it. So,
Are we doing? Are you doing season tickets this year? As of today, December 30th, are you going to do season tickets?
I don't know. I'm kind of in the same boat you're in, where I don't want to lose my seats.
Yeah.
So that's where they get you, man.
I'm definitely not buying more seats this year. Like outside the two that I have.
Oh, no.
That I've had.
No,
for,
absolutely not.
Whereas, like, you know, if there was a promising year going into 2021, I'd probably buy because now I got my brothers. Emily's Tennessee fan now, guys. Somehow, I mean, she just likes the tailgates, but she's buying Tennessee gear.
Yeah,
She got some for Christmas.
That's what Raven does. She's like, look at this. It's so cute.
Yeah. And I'm like, I mean, I'm glad you're having fun.
Yeah.
Some of us aren't.
Wear orange.
Yep. But
You look like a fan.
exactly. And so she's wanting to go to games now. So I'd like to, but if we're bad, no, I'm not doing that.
We could just sell our tickets.
Not only-
to people who want to
Yeah,
go to
exactly. Yeah, I will never be a person that's like boycott the stadium just because I'm like, I know these tickets are worth $40 a piece at least. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not just gonna lose money.
Exactly.
We get some out of it for sure.
Yeah, so you've got some uncertainty in your personal life there as far as season ticket goes. So the uncertainty does not go beyond the University of Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, it just feels like we're at a standstill, and I don't think anybody knows what's going on. It seems like Philip Fulmer wants to back Jeremy Pruitt. That's his guy. The fans are done with Jeremy Pruitt, which is very understandable.
Right.
So I don't know who's the ultimate decision. Like, what are we waiting on?
I feel like I think it's you that's asked this. Like the episodes when we talk about it, you're like, do you think it gets better next year? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
I don't think it gets better. Now, could it get worse? I don't know. But I feel like
I think it could.
I think
I mean, if you lose a lot of those players on your roster now,
right, yes.
Yeah, it could
the
get
new transfer rule definitely I feel like makes you need to pull the trigger faster.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate that because it's nice to try to ride with a guy, but that's the environment you live in. Like every coach is dealing with it. Every program is dealing with it. So now with the rule, you've got to adjust. And if you have to pull that trigger earlier, pull that trigger earlier. I don't know if the season can get worse, but yeah, you're right. The roster could certainly get worse. And that's where I'm like, you got to pull the trigger because I think this year, if you'd gone 6-6, I think that would have been a disappointment. Yep. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if the season could really get that much worse.
yeah.
Yeah,
It was a disaster. I think
Yes.
you said that last episode. It was just a disaster. And it was, we got that free touchdown at Georgia. On top, you're like, holy crap. Going into it, we thought we had a good football team.
Yeah, but you didn't think you had the talent to beat Georgia.
But when you get a free touchdown, you're like, oh my God.
Turnovers, maybe.
It could happen. Mm-hmm. You start thinking about it. And then that second half, I mean, it was just atrocious.
It was very bad.
And then from that point on, it didn't get much better.
No. No. And someone mentioned it today. I saw it on Twitter today. And I just don't know after the way the whole season played out. I don't know if this is true anymore. We both had said it like in the middle of the season. But would Jeremy Pruitt get more of a pass if he hadn't ridden with JG as long as he did?
Probably.
You think that even like looking back now? I thought it, in middle November, end of November. Now I'm just like the whole team.
And the same outcome?
Same outcome.
Okay. I mean, that's probably literally it. I don't think you have the same outcome if you switch.
That's a fair point. I agree with that. But I just mean if it was the same outcome for whatever reason. Because, I mean, I think the team looked worse. The offensive line seemed to maybe not got worse, but they didn't get better throughout the year. And I know they had some tough expectations. Because I think if you grade them out across the board on how they performed, they probably performed like on average with most offensive lines. But they were expected to be one of the better ones in the East, one of the better ones in the SEC, and that didn't happen, so they underperformed.
Yep.
So the offensive line just didn't get better. The offense was never great, probably rarely decent, but it was also so up and down. You had drives where you showed flashes and you looked good, and then you had drives where you couldn't get yards. And then you had the defense who, especially in the second half, third quarter specifically, just looked terrible.
Yeah, and there's no reasoning for that.
Right.
There's no reasoning why you come out of halftime and look the way that you did.
So that's why I'm just like, I think the JG thing, and I think you're right. If you don't start him, the season looks different. So it's hard to even say with the same results. But I think with the same results, I think Pruitt is...
Yeah, it's still a bad season.
And he's still talking about not returning. And I don't know.
Because then you run in, if it is the same result, you run into the fact that you had to play a true freshman when you had a fifth-year guy.
Yeah.
You had a redshirt junior? No, he was a third-year guy. Redshirt sophomore and JT Shrout. And then you had Brian Maurer, who played some last year. So all three of those guys didn't develop any in the offseason, is what you were saying if you went with Harrison Bailey and had the same result from that point on.
Yeah. I mean...
So you still didn't really help your case any.
No. So it definitely ended up being a lose situation, but you rode with JG too long. That's the fact of the matter. I mean, you rode with him too long. That alone isn't going to define your career at Tennessee. It's not going to define Jeremy Pruitt's career at Tennessee, but it is going to be the front cover.
Highlighted.
Yes. It's going to be
bolded, highlighted,
the foreword of it. I mean, because I just don't. It's a bad. How do you not try another guy? It just seems like it just seems uncompetitive of a person.
And then at the end of the season, like you couldn't choose a guy.
Married to him, man.
It's so weird.
Married to him.
So weird.
And then
I just want to know, why can't... So with all the uncertainty going on, I think it's hard to get staff because you don't know exactly if Pruitt's even going to be here next year.
Right.
It's hard. It's probably hard to get transfers right now because they're like, people think you're going to get fired.
Right.
So why can't somebody come out and say, he's our guy? And Fulmer, did he do that to a certain extent? Maybe, but it wasn't like we're 100% behind this guy.
It was not, like I said, if that was your vote of confidence.
It seemed very half-assed.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of confidence if that was it. I think that proves that there is something to the investigation. If you're skeptical of it or ever were, I think the fact that you haven't seen anybody come out and just 100% say it in terms of, Randy Boyd or Philip Fulmer or whatever. I think that means there's probably something to it. And then that you haven't made a single hire in your defensive line or offensive line coach. And there hasn't been any names connected to it either. Which means there's probably not a ton of talk around it. Now, that doesn't mean he's not searching. I would hope he is. But I think that shows that there's some uncertainty in who's going to be in Knoxville come next year. And I don't know, do you believe the Nugs that there's going to be something happen today, or we're going to have to go live this evening?
We might.
So
hopefully, hopefully it's the... So back when we first started this podcast in 2016, 2017, we're still kind of young in it. And when Butch Jones gets fired...
not when he got fired.
It was after the Missouri game, right?
After the Florida game was when we had to... when we went live and
behind Cool Beans,
very drunk, and we're like, fire him, he's done.
Yeah. That was...
It was the right decision, though. I believe we were right.
It was not the right decision to go live.
That's fair.
We did have the right thought.
That's fair.
We should have probably waited till the next day.
It's the thoughts that count. Yeah. The thought that counts. Yeah, no, you're right about
that. So I guess that's my... Like, are they waiting on the investigation? And if nothing comes out of the investigation, then it was kind of a waste that you waited this long.
What was the invest? I mean, if you fire him now and the investigation ends up being something, does that? I mean, could you not then do it with say, yeah, we're doing it with cause now? Like we're gonna go ahead and fire you because we need to make a move. If this is real, and if it's not, we'll pay your buyout. If it is, then we're not gonna pay your buyout because right now it just.
I mean, are we really gonna wait until every single potential candidate is either gone or has a 5-year extension with their current team?
If some of these guys, if some of these guys haven't been fired for the investigations they've had, Jeremy Pruitt's not going to get fired for this one.
Right. From what I'm reading, it's very similar to what Dan Mullen.
Yeah.
From what I've read, I mean,
it's incidental,
something more, but it's like incidental contact.
Self-imposed ban.
Yeah.
Ban. We're not going to the postseason.
Unofficial visits and stuff like that. I don't know. It just seems, maybe there's more to that. Maybe that's what they're looking at with benefits and stuff like that. But
and again, I just said a few minutes ago, it makes me believe there's something to the investigation. The fact that nothing's been said, but the fact that he's not been fired yet also leads me to believe that there's nothing to the investigation. Yeah. Because again, Tennessee knows what happened. They're aware. They shouldn't have to wait out any longer.
Why can't they just come out and be like, Pruitt is our guy?
Yeah.
And they still have that investigation, and if something comes about it, then you can fire him with cause, and it's over.
So it's a bad look that Phil Fulmer has.
With so much uncertainty with the program right now, I think you're setting it back by not go ahead and saying exactly what's going on.
Does Phil Fulmer think that his comment about the bowl was enough? Like, is he like, yeah, really this is not. Like he's like, yeah, if my ID had said this about me, I'd feel good. Does he think that?
I have no clue. He's been around the block a time or two. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that he does not think that. There's no way.
But even then, it's not good. Like flat out, it wasn't enough.
Right.
So even then. Also, the Philip Fulmer talk, we can talk about him being a good, bad AD, whatever. But the fact that people are like, it's the same people that were mad about Rick Barnes. Rick Barnes said in a press conference, these people are the ones that are like, I want a coach to be honest. And then Rick Barnes is honest and says, if UCLA had paid my buyout, I would have gone to UCLA. Are the same ones. So those guys who are then mad about Rick Barnes being honest. They're mad about coaches not being honest. They're mad at Rick Barnes being honest. And then now they're saying that Philip Fulmer didn't save Barnes, which I've never said that. I mean, I think he played a part in it. I mean, not saying it was only him, but they're like, well, Randy Boyd saved the day. No. If the buyout was there, he was gone.
Yeah, it was nothing Randy Boyd or anybody was going to do. It was UCLA, and they just didn't do their end of the deal.
I mean, Tennessee sure ponied up a little bit more money, but y'all were also mad about that. So what are we going to be happy about? I just don't know. We were both happy. We felt like what you're paying for is to not reset. I mean, whether you get a good hire or not, it still takes time. So you're paying to not reset. You ponied up a couple $1 million to not reset. Yep. That was worth it. And it's clear that it was worth it now. The Kim English hire was obviously huge for Rick Barnes, but I know that some of the two programs that have the most momentum have very, very little to do with Phil Fulmer, but he's also the athletic director, and he is responsible for the environment they're in, and that's fostered. So I'm not going to sit here and go, I mean, he's the reason the baseball program is doing good, or he's the reason Rick Barnes is back and the basketball program is doing good. But, I mean, he has his hand in it. He has a little bit.
Yeah, and we've actually talked to some of the baseball staff, and they've said that he's had a big part.
Right.
In them, looking to get upgrading their field. That's a huge recruiting pitch to kids.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, do I think he's done everything right? No.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not willing to put him in the same category as I'm putting Jeremy Pruitt in right now.
No. I'm not either. I think he gets he gets some more time. I think the thing about the football hire is it is the most important job that you have to put in that seat. I mean, he has said that, like he has recognized that. So it doesn't matter how great the other programs are doing. If football is not great, that's not good for
Right, you look bad.
That's not good for the university. We're not the Pac-12. We're not Stanford, where Stanford goes and wins championships in every, water polo
basket
and wrestling before they canceled the program and women's field hockey. Like, Tennessee doesn't have that. Tennessee has football, and that's the money driver. That's what fans care about the most. Sure, they care about basketball. I mentioned this last episode. There's not a lot of fans who have basketball season tickets that don't have football season tickets. There's not a lot of fans that have only basketball and have decided they don't want football. Now, that is going to become the trend, but it has not been the trend lately. Right. Unless you fix something, that's going to become the trend. So, Tennessee, it's the SEC. It just means more. Football is the driving force. If you want to have a competitive athletic department and a team that doesn't become the next Vanderbilt or Kentucky or whatever. I mean,
were we not just singing Fulmer's praises a couple, less than a year ago when we went on? We thought Jeremy Pruitt was the guy. The baseball program was good. The basketball program was good. We're like, oh, it's all because of Philip Fulmer. Right. And now we're just like, because Jeremy Pruitt changed. Because he was not the same person this season.
It's what the job will do to you. I think you age more as a Tennessee football coach than you do the president of the United States.
Exactly, yeah. and so now we're saying fire Fulmer.
He's put himself in a tough spot by being what seems publicly as indecisive about who the head coach is. For me, I would at least all right, I ride with him if he came out and was like, Jeremy Pruitt's our guy 100%. I know this year was tough. It's not the result we wanted, but we're going with him in 2021. We think he can get this. At least he sounds decisive, and
yeah, and I think that's all I want from him.
Yeah, and then we can talk about whether he's right or wrong later. But it's just frustrating right now that it seems like he doesn't know either.
Yeah, can we just get an answer and move on?
And again,
if you're going to fire him, and let's get somebody else in here.
Yeah.
But the waiting game is what's annoying to me right now.
Right. So if he says that about the bowl game. Because, again, I'm with you. He shouldn't think that was a decisive.
Right.
But if the rumors aren't there about, if the investigation isn't there, and then the rumors about, he would be fired if the investigation turns out to be what it could be, with all that wasn't there, do you think you might see that as okay, he just said Pruitt's our guy? Because that's,
Yeah, I just think he needed to say more.
Right. But, has an AD ever called a press conference and been like, I just want to let everybody know Jeremy Pruitt is our guy?
And they probably haven't, but I don't know, I'm not familiar with any other athletic department, but what's another athletic department that has this much uncertainty around it?
Oh, I don't know if there's any. Especially
with the history that Tennessee has with coaching searches and bad coaching hires anyway.
And then you got to mix in too that this is the premier program on campus. There's not.
But also, if you are saying Jeremy Pruitt is your guy, and this would not be released, but he needs a firm plan on how things are going to get fixed.
Yeah, and rotating, and as much as I think there needs to be some assistant coaches changing, rotating 8 guys, it's not good for the program either.
No,
or 6 guys, or whatever it could be.
When you get the job, you're calling your guys that you want.
Yeah,
and then if it's 3 or 4 coaches down the line, you're not getting exactly who you're wanting. And I think that was the thing with Jimmy Brumbaugh.
Yeah,
he didn't probably want him from the get-go, but he didn't really have a choice.
They didn't even interview him, so that's on him.
Right.
But that's a dumb decision all around. In terms of, I thought it seemed like a pretty good hire at the time, but the firing was just dumb. The way it happened, the timing when it happened, was just dumb. There's no other way to put it.
It looked like your whole defense, and it wasn't because Jimmy Brumbaugh. I think a lot of that was because Pruitt was so focused on the D-line that he couldn't oversee a Brian Niedermeyer who was in his first year as a position at that position. Shelton Felton, who was a first-year position coach.
Yeah.
He didn't have that time to kind of mold them into good position coaches. And not to say that they would have been anyway, but it definitely doesn't help.
No, you made it hard on yourself.
Yeah, you dug your own grave there.
You made it hard on yourself. I mean, and then more uncertainty, the portal, the transfer portal. Tennessee has 15 guys in it now. And yeah, I don't know what the numbers look like everywhere. I know Alabama has 13 or 14. I know with the new transfer rule, there's going to be a lot of transfers. But again, we've talked about it. It's just the timing of everything does not look good when you have this many guys transferring. You've got guys that are impactful guys transferring. I mean, no one's upset about number 2 transferring. But when that's been your guy the whole time, it's fair to be like, oh, why is that guy transferring? I mean,
yeah.
What changed in the last 4 games? Is he pouting that he got started over? Because if that's the case, he should have never been the starter at all.
No.
So if that's the case, then it just proves more to why you made the wrong decision. Is he transferring? Again, it is a tough spot Jeremy Pruitt's been put in, but he's put himself there.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't believe in the program anymore. Oh, does he just want to go play his 6th year somewhere else because, he feels like his time's up? Probably. That's probably all it is. But it's fair to ask those questions, and Jeremy Pruitt's put himself there.
Yep. I mean, yeah, it's his grave. He dug it. Made your bed, you lay in it.
What's he got to do to win you back in 2021?
He's got to win football games. That's it.
How many? Do you have a number?
A lot. I think you have to win 8 games. For me to be like, okay, maybe you can be successful here.
Right.
But if you go 6-6,
that's another thing. How can you confidently keep this guy around next year? Like, if the thought in your head is, I might have to fire this guy mid-year next year, just fire him now.
Yeah.
Fire him now.
6-6. You can't tell me right now Hugh Freeze and Jamie Chadwell couldn't come in here and win 6 games here in Tennessee next year. You can't.
There should be a lot of people who could win.
Exactly. Who do you have? You have 3 cupcakes in Pittsburgh, and then what do you have?
Pitt
You have
is going to wear us out.
You have Vanderbilt. That should be 5 games, easy.
Pitt is going to beat the brakes off of us. Just wait.
I'm gonna be upset. But yeah, with the transfer portal, DeAndre Johnson, he was like you said, there is some impactful guys, and the fact that it's so many, like the 15 number just looks bad.
Yep.
But it's no one that is just like, man, I wish he'd be back. DeAndre Johnson was a walking personal foul.
Yeah, but
he crushed us.
But you lose a starter. You lose a guy that played a ton of snaps.
Yeah.
You also, which I know you didn't have him this year, and you at least were able to play some more guys at tight end. But losing Austin Pope, that's
there's some guys that hurt, and I think Austin Pope's one of them. DeAndre Johnson might be one of them.
DeAndre Johnson hurts. He did some dumb stuff, but losing him is going. You're losing playmakers.
Right.
Now, again, I know I'm not naive to what he did. Some of the things he cost Tennessee, but at least he was getting close enough to the quarterback to. There were guys on our roster that they couldn't even tell you what number the quarterback was wearing. That's how far they stayed away from him.
Yeah. So yeah, it looks bad, but I don't think it's.
There hasn't been.
It's not as bad from a roster standpoint.
So I do think there are some transfers that will hurt Tennessee. There has not been a single one that I've seen that I'm thinking that is an alarm to what's going on inside the program right now.
Yeah, and it's not somebody that I can right now say that dude's going to be all conference.
Yeah. If tomorrow, next couple weeks, Jeremy Pruitt lost guys like Eric Gray or Henry To'oTo'o, cannon. You can't even think twice about it.
So where did the Henry To'oTo'o thing come from?
Someone just asked us. I haven't heard the rumor. I'm not sure.
I've heard that rumor a lot.
I don't know. If you lose your best defensive player, fire him on the spot.
Yeah,
a guy that by all accounts looks like he wants to be at the University of Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely.
For him.
Anytime they have a press conference or anything, Henry To'oTo'o is a speaker. He's an ambassador of this football program, like it or not.
Yeah, if he decides he wants to leave, that is the alarm that I'm like, he's got to go.
Yeah.
And that's when I'm like, all right, Phil, if you can't do it, then...
Yeah, let's move on from that.
barring any, which a guy like Henry To'oTo'o, barring any like off the field issues, but I don't think, unless he is just, you know, I don't think that'll happen with Henry To'oTo'o.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't know him personally, but
I'd be shocked.
yep.
I'd be shocked.
Anything else for the transfer portal? Any guys you want to mention? Any guys that you have seen from other teams that you're like, they need to find a way to go get them on the roster?
Well, Bailey Zappi is going to play for Tyson Helton. And I think, again, like you're with recruiting and then with transfers, with the uncertainty you have, that hurts. Because you think kids don't look into that? They don't see Twitter and be like, oh, are you going to be fired? You don't think they ask when he calls him on the phone? He's like, hey, buddy, you know we're Tennessee, blah blah. They're like, yeah, are you going to get fired? I'm sure that's asked.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
you got to ask
because it's not are you going to be here next year in 2022? It's like, are you going to be here for the season I'm committing to play for you?
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure that's difficult right now. I don't know if they reached out to Zappi. I don't know if they reached out to any quarterback. Mm-hmm. But I think it would benefit them to add a transfer quarterback of some kind.
No, I mean, you need more depth in that room right now. It looks like it's just going to be Brian Maurer and Harrison Bailey and Caden Salter. So, and one of those guys is a freshman. One of them
is Brian Maurer going to be here?
Yeah, I mean, not even just here. Is he going to be healthy?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that quarterback.
Yeah, he's one scorpion move away from not playing football anymore.
Poor guy. Yeah. Also, JT Shrout landed at Colorado.
Yeah.
I think he could be. Yeah, go Buffs. I think he could be very successful in the Pac-12. I think he could have been successful in the SEC. Certainly not a super polished quarterback, but he'll have 2 years of eligibility, I believe, and I think he's got a really good chance of being successful.
Yeah, I think the Pac-12 is probably a perfect place for him to go.
I think almost all leagues, because the SEC maybe wasn't super quarterback friendly 5 years ago. You know, if you're talking about a transfer quarterback, unless you're transferring like to a contender, the SEC is probably not where you want it. Now, every league I feel like is quarterback friendly. I mean,
but yeah,
maybe the Big Ten.
It's a
not
pass happy.
Yeah.
Place, and that's where he needs to be. Where right now we look like a team that if we can't run the ball, we're just not going to score.
It's a lot of fun to watch, let me tell you.
Yeah, it's great. But and is that not another thing with a transfer quarterback? You don't watch Tennessee on film and be like, you know, what is this?
Right. So I was going to go look to confirm how many years of eligibility JT Shrout has left. They took him off the 2020 roster
already.
Yeah. The 2020 season's over before he transferred, before he announced it. It's so weird. So he's played 2 years, so he'll have 3 years of eligibility left. Right? Because this year doesn't count.
Yeah, that's right.
Or no, sorry. This year was his third year. So he would only have 1 year left if this year counted.
Right.
But he has 2.
Yeah.
So he just has 2 years. Okay. That's still, that's good for a train. You know, if you do have a great year, you could certainly forego that last year, but you also have the opportunity to return for another year if you wanted that. So, good for him.
Yep.
Yeah, they took JG off too. They took all the transfers off the 2020 roster. That's so weird.
Yeah, so now I guess you're not expecting any of those guys back.
I guess not. They announced that because JG hadn't announced where he's going yet. I don't know, unless I missed it. I don't think he has.
I think his top 2 is definitely Arkansas State and Rutgers, 100%.
There's no way he goes to Arkansas State. After 2017 with Butch Jones, there's no way.
You recruited him. I don't know.
I mean, if you make the same mistake twice, you deserve everything that comes your way.
My thing is, if he didn't transfer, would he be the favorite to start day one?
For sure. I mean, not in my eyes, but for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Good Lord.
Let's talk about this 2022 class.
Yeah, this is another thing, uncertainty. You know, I think this is another reason why Fulmer should come out and say, if you really think Jeremy Pruitt's our guy, come out and say he's our guy. In 2021, he's going to be our football coach.
Yep.
And if something comes about, then it comes about. You make a change. But this 2022 class in state is nasty.
It's certainly,
And you can't afford, if Jeremy Pruitt wants to, build on this roster, this is a perfect opportunity. Because at 3-7, you're not going to go get the best players in Alabama, the best players in Georgia, Florida, Texas, Louisiana, North Carolina, Virginia. You're not going to get those players.
I mean, it's tough to get guys out of your own state when you're this bad.
But I think it's a lot easier to sell to get guys in state.
Yeah, for sure.
Than a guy that's the number one player in Georgia to come play for a 3-7 Tennessee team. That just doesn't happen.
Oh, absolutely.
So you have 13 guys rated as a 4-star or higher. You have the number. He's a top 5 player in every ranking. I think he's number 1 on 247. That's Walter Nolan out of St. Benedict at Auburndale in Cordova. I mean, when Jeremy Pruitt, I guess, is out of quarantine, he needs to, as long as he's still the coach, he needs to set up shop in the Nashville areas and Memphis areas.
Yeah.
So you got Cordova, you got Westview and Martin.
You can just go get all your violations at Oakland High School.
Yeah. And Jordan James, who was at Brentwood Academy, transferred to Oakland, won a state title. Isaiah Horton transferred from Innsworth to Oakland, win a state title. He's a 4-star wide receiver. Yeah, Fisher Anderson, who's an offensive tackle. The Wade twins from Summit. I think that's south of Nashville.
Yeah.
Dallin Hayden, Legacy. And, I mean, I don't know what he's going to play. Is he going to play running? He looks like a running back now, whereas maybe 2 years ago he looked more as like a DB.
Right.
But he's more than capable of playing multiple positions. He's at Christian Brothers in Memphis, Cody Jones in Germantown. You got Caden Martin, another Legacy, in Knoxville Catholic.
Who knows if he'll even play football.
Right. Cam Miller in Memphis, the 4-star wide receiver. You have Langston Patterson, who Kane Patterson was his older brother, and he's a linebacker at Clemson.
Gotcha.
But he's at CPA in Nashville, so, I mean, dude, just a ton of talent. I think it's kind of similar to the 2022 where you just had a ton of, high-level talent in the state of Tennessee. But I think this one just is better when you add in Walter Nolan, Ty Simpson, who is probably the best quarterback that the state of Tennessee has ever produced.
Yeah, I mean, a guy like Ty Simpson is a program changer.
Yep. And those are, like, you got to land Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
Got to.
And I don't know. I mean, Ty, he's been on campus a lot, but, man, how do you turn down offers from Alabama and Clemson? I mean, that's places you could be a day one starter.
And I think that's the thing is, like, you have to be like, you have to play for your home state, change the, I mean, you can't really say change the culture, I guess, because you've been here for 3 years, but, build something.
Yeah.
Build your own legacy.
But you can't show, you can't be digressing when you sign him. You have to be on the up. He's not going to go somewhere that's tanking currently.
Yeah, no, I think that's kind of what he's waiting on. I feel like if Tennessee won...
If Tennessee had been 6-4 this year, they're probably in a lot better spot with him.
Yeah, or 7-3, 8-2, he might have already been committed. Because I feel like he really wants to be at Tennessee. I just don't think that you can really sell that you're setting him up for the NFL.
Right.
And I would agree. I mean, look at that offense.
I wouldn't blame a soul for not coming to Tennessee currently, just because if you're talking about making kids better, how can you blame them for looking at the current state of the roster and the player development? How can you blame them?
Yeah.
I would love for them to come to Tennessee and be successful. It'd be a lot of fun. But how can you blame them? And if you're, I know a lot of people, well, this is why people don't want to come to Tennessee. No, come here and get better, but I'm with you. I've seen nothing that says you can get better here. So I'm with you. Find a coach that can make you better.
If Jeremy Pruitt is given another year and he wants to stick around, this would be his opportunity to win some fans over, getting some of these recruits.
I think the 2022 class is too late. Because, look at the 2021 class. It's not falling apart, but it's way far back from where it was in May. So, I think I think Jeremy Pruitt, if he wants to be around in 2022, I think he has to go win a bunch. I mean, I think it's just win. I think that's all it is win.
Oh yeah, he's got to win next year.
Yeah,
for sure.
2022 classes. I mean,
but you can't have the same thing like you did this year with the 2021 in-state class where you got one out of the top 10.
oh yeah, like if you do have a 7-5, 8-4 year, whatever, and you're kept around for 2022, you better figure out how to get the class put together.
Yeah.
If you do.
Because, like I said, you got one out of the top 10 in 2021. 2020, you did a lot better job in you got 6 out of the top 10. I think the top 3 or 4, I think, are the ones or maybe you landed the top 2, you landed 3 out of the top 4. But you're gonna have to do that. You're gonna have to make 2022 a priority. It was no secret that you didn't in 2021 like you did in 2020. So if Jeremy Pruitt really wants to be around, I think he's going to have to do a lot better job of recruiting the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree.
Go to Memphis. Cordova, Germantown, just set up shop.
Yep. That would be the place
Westview.
to do it for 2022.
Yep.
All right, let's start basketball. Basketball school.
Basketball.
Undefeated. Staying that way, especially after tonight. I've got Vols, so you said it was at 3.5?
Yeah, that's what I saw earlier.
I've got Vols between 5 and 8 points. Victory. Yeah.
So they cover.
They cover. Think it could be more if Tennessee's able to find their rhythm shooting. The only reason Missouri scares me shooting is because of their opponent, because they have shot very poorly this year.
Yeah.
I guess it's potential they could get hot. I don't know, but they are a very poor shooting team. Last year they ranked like 369th in shooting. This year they're at 277th, I think. This is not a good shooting team. They are not far behind Tennessee in field goal percentage. Tennessee's at like 47%. They're at 44%, but they're just shooting 28% from the field. Tennessee's 34%, I think, from the field or from 3-point range. But we've also seen Tennessee get a little. They've picked up that pace a little bit in the last couple games. Mm-hmm. I don't see a reason to believe that Missouri would just magically pick it up this game.
No, I'm kind of with you on that. I mean, but give Missouri props. I mean, from going 15-16 last year to be 6-0 and ranked number 12 in the country, and you've won big games. Oregon, Illinois.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for this matchup. The fact that you get to open SEC play with a top 15 matchup as the University of Tennessee, it's going to be a nationally watched game, a conference watch game.
It's at 9:00.
It is at 9:00, which sucks. But people are going to keep their eyes on it because this has implications for the rest of the season. This isn't a throwaway Wednesday night game against Vanderbilt and Mississippi State. Like this is an important game for a lot of reasons. So it's going to be it is a fantastic way to open up conference play. I don't know how. And you get to play Cuonzo Martin in Missouri.
Yeah. Former coach. Is he a VFL? We count him as a VFL.
According to John Adams.
John Adams said he's a VFL.
Is that his name, John Adams?
The Knox News?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think players and coaches only can be VFLs, which I'm fine with saying that. But my issue is he said in his article, he was like, if a player transfers or ends their career early, then they aren't VFLs.
So if they leave for the NFL draft, they're not considered VFLs?
I'd have to. I mean, I'm not gonna go back and read the article, but yeah, something like that.
Fair,
something like that. Missouri does bring some, challenges into this game. They're gonna play really, really solid defense. So it is gonna be
two really good defensive teams.
Yes, I think it's gonna be a pretty low scoring game. I think unless Tennessee does find a way to have a guy heat up, but other than that, I don't see Tennessee scoring a lot of points in this game. I think it would be, it's going to be a real challenge. Tennessee's not averaging a ton. Now that's thanks to their first 2 or 3 games. That point total is pretty low. But Missouri's also not allowing. They're allowing 65 points a game. They're not. It's not been super easy. Tennessee is averaging 80. I'm so shocked to see that number. It has helped that they had 2 100-point games.
Yeah.
That has helped a lot.
And I think that might be the kind of difference in this game, whereas, both teams are good defensively. I think Tennessee has more talent. And so if they do get if there is one team that gets a hot streak, I think it has to be Tennessee. I don't think it's going to be Missouri.
No, I agree with that.
With them scoring 54 points against Bradley, imagine what Tennessee's going to do defensively to them.
Yeah, they definitely, that showed a little slump there. Tennessee's defense is obviously really solid. I think I want to flip back to the offensive end. Just talking about Tennessee, what they can, because I don't see Tennessee scoring 80 in this game. I do think something's got to give, and I think it'll probably actually be in that 65 range for Missouri, 65, 70 points at the most. But we talked about this last episode. Missouri, when you talk about trying to find a way to stop Tennessee, you can't key on one person. And I mean, if you take away Fulkerson, if you took away Fulkerson last year, you're losing a lot of points. If you take away Fulkerson this year, well, you have a guy. That's going to hurt Tennessee, but you have more guys that are threats on this team than just John Fulkerson. I mean, even last year before you play, Josiah Jordan-James wasn't scoring points. Vescovi wasn't scoring, and not only scoring now. Last year he was a threat to get the ball in the right areas, but even more so this year with the talent around him, he's done a lot better job of getting the ball in the right places to allow others to score. It's going to be very, very tough to hold this Tennessee team to few amount of points. Again, I think Missouri is going to do a fantastic defensive job. They always have. Cuonzo Martin has always had good defensive teams, but I don't see them stopping Tennessee.
No, I don't either. I just don't think from a talent standpoint they can really hang with Tennessee guy for guy.
Right.
And I don't think a lot of teams in the country could, especially at the guard position. I think if Missouri has a chance in this game, it's going to be on the boards. They do have Jeremiah Tillman, who is 6'10", 260. So he's got about around 45, 50 pounds on John Fulkerson.
You see a lot of E.J. Anosicki tomorrow or tonight.
And that's the guy. Jeremiah Tillman, Tennessee wants to get him in foul trouble immediately.
And that's another thing that Missouri does well. And I think it's going to be fun to kind of see these teams go at each other because Missouri is going to try to get Tennessee in foul trouble. They play a very, very aggressive offensive style. They're coming off ball screens and they're going to make you. They're going to do their best to make you foul them and get to the free throw line. And they've got a lot of good guards that can. They have a lot of good guards, and it makes me feel better that they have such a low shooting percentage. If you look at a team like this, and they're shooting just a little bit better, I would say they strike a little bit more fear in an opponent. But the fact that they're not, a lot of their points are coming from the free throw line, makes you feel a little bit better. Now, Tennessee playing an aggressive defense is going to have to be smart tomorrow night. Now, the good news is you can rotate 8 to 10 guys.
And they have a lot of experience, too. Most of those guys are juniors, seniors. I think the only sophomore that they have really getting any minutes is Kobe Brown, and he's a 6'7", 240, so a Grant Williams type player. So if Missouri's going to have a chance, it's going to be down low. It's going to be banging around, just moving guys out of the way. But you do have, I like what you said with E.J. Anosicki. He's that type of guy, too. So I think that's a good matchup. That's something to watch. And if you do get Tillman in foul trouble, you have John Fulkerson who's shooting like 90% from the free throw line right now. Yeah. So he's going to cash in those too.
Put you in a better shot. You also have Olivier Cuonzo, who's played a lot better the last couple of games.
Yeah.
Hopefully that carries over. I do realize it's been against lesser opponents, but you mentioned it. Maybe get that confidence up and allow him to perform a little bit better against SEC opponents. Missouri does have a lot of good guards, but Xavier Pinson is their leading scorer, and he shoots 24% from three. They don't have any sharpshooters on this team.
And I think it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. So that
today with Tennessee's defense.
See, I hope, but Tennessee's forcing everything from inside out. They're not going to give up anything easy down low. And most of what they're going to give up is if you want to live and die by the three. Unfortunately, Tennessee will let you live and die by the three. They're not going to give you the easy points. They're going to make you score out there from range, but. Thankfully, this Missouri team, when you talk about playing a top 15 opponent,
so they'll shoot the lights out today.
Yeah, probably. But when you talk about playing a top 15 opponent and you're telling me that you're playing a number 12 team that can't shoot to save their lives, that makes me feel better about Tennessee matching up against them.
And like you said, they do a lot of screens, try to get, mismatches. There is nobody that you can really, Tennessee can switch and be just fine at any position.
Yes, that again, I think this Missouri team plays well into Tennessee style. I mean, you mentioned there's some height matchups, but
not even really height, just weight.
Yeah, Tennessee plays
guys.
some stingy defense. It's not. They don't have to be worried about those mismatches in terms of size because it's a very stingy style of defense. Our guys going to get their points, and yeah, for sure, but it's not going to come easy and it's not going to come often.
Yep. They definitely got more girth than we do.
Yeah, girth. For sure. Tennessee does, the 3-point thing scares me because it just takes a couple to fall to give them the confidence where guys start shooting more and shooting often, shooting fast. That scares me. But the good thing is it could happen on the other end of the floor. Missouri plays a very, very similar style. Tennessee offensively, right now where they haven't been able to put in a ton of offense, it is just motion. Like you're going to have guys that get open often. Victor Bailey Jr. will shoot the ball from anywhere on the court at any moment. His hands are ready. If he hits a few, I think he's going to be confident and he can make a lot of threes tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I think you'll see more of Fulkerson and Pons. We mentioned last game that they combined for only taking 9 shots. I think you'll see a lot more of those guys today in SEC play.
And I hope the ball gets into them enough. One thing with Tennessee spreading the ball around a lot could make some guys try to force some things when they've had a little bit more confidence. Now go to your guys that know how to do it. You gotta play your offense through them, through Fulkerson, through not as much through Pons as through Fulkerson, but go to the guys that know how to score or know how to get to the free throw line. That's not to say Jaden Springer and Keon Johnson shouldn't be taking their fair share of shots, but they definitely don't need to come early in the shot clock. They definitely don't need to force things. Be a little bit more patient tomorrow night. It's not going to be like playing USC Upstate or St. Joseph's. So
yeah, and I'm kind of interested to see how the freshmen look.
Yeah,
going into SEC play because they played Cincinnati, Colorado, but I think this Missouri team is a lot better than those guys. Yep. I mean, Colorado maybe they haven't lost a game since they lost to Tennessee. Mm-hmm. So I don't really know how good they actually are, but we'll get to see on full display tomorrow how good this Tennessee team really is. Because I had somebody tell me that Tennessee's overrated. I'm like, I don't know how you came up with that, but I guess we can find out today.
I guess just because Tennessee can't be underrated. Like they're either overrated or exactly where everyone thought they should be. Because it's not just Tennessee fans. I know Tennessee fans are super high on them and are obviously very, very excited about a team, and they should be. We should have the right to be excited about this team. If this team was playing for Kentucky, or this team was playing for Kansas, or this team was playing for Duke, they would obviously as well be a Final Four. Everyone would go, that's a Final Four team. Mm-hmm. And now that you have experts saying this looks like the makings of a Final Four team, yeah, that's right. And sure, they can't be underrated. It's you are not allowed to call this team overrated because it's easy to be right about it. Yeah. Because it's accomplishing the thing that they should accomplish is one of the hardest things to do in athletics.
But right now, how do you call somebody
that's stupid.
Overrated when there's no proof to it?
No, there's definitely no proof.
You're undefeated.
But again,
you've won by huge margins. You've scored over 100 points in 2 games. Yeah. How do you no game has been close. That's another reason this game kind of makes me a little nervous is because we haven't played a super close game yet.
And I think it's going to be close down the stretch.
And Missouri has.
Yeah.
So you saw that with Bradley. They ended up pulling that one out. So, yeah, that kind of makes me a little nervous just because we haven't done it. But we've experienced too. Yeah. It's not like we're just full of freshmen.
Right.
So, worries me, but it doesn't at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
Tennessee's going to be fine. We're going to win. Cuonzo's going to lose. It's going to be great. G-Man Vols is going to tweet out Cuonzo in all caps after the game.
Cuonzo!
I can't wait.
It's going to be fun. Rick Barnes and the boys taking them to church.
To church. baptize them in the rocks.
In the rocks. So Tennessee obviously will take on number 12 Missouri tonight. That's 9 p.m. on the SEC network. I think it's on TV, so don't worry. I don't think you have to stream it. Then they take on Alabama. That's January 2nd, Saturday, 6 p.m. on ESPN2. Is the next game coming up. Guess we should have previewed that, but we'll wait.
I think they played Ole Miss last night.
They did. They end up winning that game. I almost bet on it, but I decided to stay away.
I don't know if they did or not.
They did.
They did.
82-64. They ran away with it.
I almost bet on them, but I was like, nah, I'm good. Because I've seen Ole Miss play a game this year, and they look terrible.
Yes, they did. I watched them play some like lesser opponent. That I was
it was like Central
God.
Arkansas, and it was terrible.
It was Central Arkansas, and the over did hit. The over was like 150,
It was
something like
close,
that.
wasn't it?
I think it was, but it was a pretty insane amount of points, so it worked out. But yes, that was what they played. You're right.
Got a question.
About basketball or just question?
It's about football. So Noah Vol said, how many transfers do we get? So Tennessee's signing class is at what, 19 right now? I think we're waiting.
Yeah, I think so.
20 because Dylan Brooks hasn't signed yet.
You thinking you calling it? Calling the shot? Tennessee getting him? Because it's not official yet, right? Am I wrong?
Right. He hasn't said, but he's also not been like Terrence Lewis and been like retweeting and loving every single school that shows him any kind of interest whatsoever.
Fair.
I'm gonna say yeah. Sure, why not?
Okay.
I mean, DeAndre Johnson, Kevon Bennett's gone. How do you not just be like, hey, it's right here. Take it.
You're starting.
Right.
Well, okay.
It is kind of depressing that they didn't. They didn't get him to sign early signing period. Kind of worries me a little bit. But
Yeah.
Apparently, he wanted to sign with his teammates.
Okay.
So part of me is like, have you already signed? You just haven't made it public yet.
Right.
Are we just gonna do like a? Didn't Jay Hardy do that to us? We were like recruiting him. He had already signed.
Yes.
But he said he didn't.
Which is illegal.
Right.
Yes. Man, I don't think we have any bowl games to talk about other than Miami.
I do want to look at their. I do want to answer his question real quick, but I want to make sure I have the correct. So what we can sign 25.
Yes.
That includes transfers.
Does it?
So we will save room
stupid.
for transfers. And yeah, like Tennessee has 15 guys leaving the program, and we just get that 25 every year. So the one-time transfer is going to...
So they can't bring in additional transfers from that?
Nope. You can only bring in 25.
So there's going to be a lot of guys left like without spots.
Oh, yeah.
The transfer.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, there's way more transfers now than there are spots.
Yeah, so there's got to be guys coming back.
Or they're going down. Like, probably where they didn't really want to go in the first place.
Maybe, yeah. You're right.
Yeah, so Tennessee has signed 18 guys right now. We have 4 commits right now. Dylan Brooks, Jordan Mosley, Rock Taylor, Colby Smith. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is with those. I think all those 3 guys are signed in February. I don't know if it will be with Tennessee or not. But Dylan Brooks is the one you need.
Yes.
And then you try to go get some transfers. Transfers, you got to have a quarterback.
You desperately need a quarterback.
You definitely need a pass rusher, probably too. I'm trying to think of what else you probably need. Secondary, DB, corner,
Everybody.
linebacker.
Take them all. Take them all.
I mean,
Take
at
them all.
this point, yeah.
Take them all.
I was looking at the transfer portal, like all the guys in it, and there's a lot of guys that Tennessee like recruited and are now in the transfer portal that didn't choose Tennessee and are now in the transfer portal. It's just like a weird.
It's gonna happen a lot. I mean,
Yeah. Like EJ Nadoma Ogar went to Oklahoma. He's in the transfer portal. Dylan Spencer went to Missouri. He's in the transfer portal. It's just weird. What do you think? Like, we could have used you, but you chose to go elsewhere, and now,
Maybe land back at Tennessee.
yeah, maybe we'll see.
Like you said, where they maybe ultimately didn't want to go.
Yeah. You got to go to your second choice.
Yep. All right. So did you get to that question? Did you find it?
Yeah, I say
okay.
we can do 25. So right now
Okay.
we could potentially add 7.
Gotcha.
But with Dylan Brooks, I think you at least 5 or 6,
Okay.
depending on who you sign.
Yeah.
There could be some February guys come available maybe that you sign out of high school, but I think the majority of those would be transfers.
Gotcha. Okay. Bowl games.
Bowl games.
Colorado lost me money. They didn't cover 8.5
They got
to
blasted.
Texas, and then
I
the
picked
over hit somehow at 69. Nice.
Texas to cover in my 2-team parlay, but thank you, Miami, for not covering +1. So.
I like it. That's it. That's all the bowl games. Miami. That's it. That's the 2 that have played since
Great time.
Sunday. So, Derek King got injured. Miami still.
He's coming back next year.
They made it a football game. Good for them. They made it interesting.
You know who I did see that's entering the NFL draft?
Who dat?
My boy. Will be a ton of money this year. Jarrett Patterson,
Is he?
Buffalo.
Good for him. Go get paid, young man.
Yeah.
Go get paid. I wish he'd enter the transfer portal. Whew.
We're gonna have a tough room to find some playing time at running back position.
I would love that problem. They probably won't play
good
a
problem to
guy.
have.
They probably won't play a guy, but whatever. Whatever. All right, NFL power rankings. That was it for college football. Congratulations, guys.
We did it.
Do we need to find some more locks for people? Because now we can't call Florida a lock. They don't even know who they're going to start.
I know. I wish I could get my money back from betting on them.
Yeah, that's kind of stupid. Maybe we can make a racist stink about it and see what happens.
They did kind of help us out though.
I feel like I just need to bet on Mississippi State just to feel something. +2.5 versus Tulsa. It's like
when does Ole Miss play?
Are they
I think
January 2nd?
I did Texas A&M.
You did A&M?
Mm-hmm. I picked them to cover.
When is that? Is that the January 2nd game, Ole Miss?
I don't know.
They are the January 1st. Outback's January 1st, right?
Okay, yeah.
And then A&M is January 1st. Versus North Carolina, -7.5 versus North Carolina. Dang. That might be too many points for me. What do you think about Kentucky and NC State? Kentucky's just a 2.5 point favorite.
I'm staying away from Kentucky. They're not a good football team. Neither is NC State, but
Yeah,
I'm not going to lose money on Kentucky. I refuse.
that's fine. Georgia, Cincinnati, you got an opinion? Georgia's a 7-point favorite.
Yeah, I picked Georgia to cover.
Okay.
I just don't think Cincinnati's going to be able to score.
No, I don't. Yeah. And then Northwestern.
And that's kind of with. I know UNC has a good offense. Their best offensive player entered into the NFL draft, so he's not playing. And I just think Texas A&M's a good football team.
Texas A&M's very good. I mean,
I think they're better than Notre Dame, and Notre Dame beat UNC.
are they pissed off though, or are they just who cares and they don't play?
It's a good point. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of this whole year has been kind of hard to bet
definitely
on.
It's hard to gauge it.
Especially most of your bet, you're having to do day of. You can't get anything early because you just never know.
Shouldn't I've done some things early I shouldn't.
Yeah,
But okay, so Northwestern's 3.5 point favorites. I'm not touching that game because I don't know what's gonna happen with Auburn with an interim coach. I don't have a clue.
I stayed away from that too.
All right, NFL power rankings.
Number 1,
Kansas City.
Kansas City.
I wanted to put Buffalo there, so bad.
Dude, Buffalo's good.
Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills, but
I'm slowly becoming a Buffalo, an undercover Buffalo fan.
they're crazy. I love
yeah.
them.
How can you not cheer for them?
Exactly. The reason I didn't, I would have put them there, but I've got to put Green Bay at number 2.
Oh,
you can't go beat the crap out of the way Tennessee's looked this year. Beat the crap out of them. I know it was in the snow. I know it plays to, them Wisconsin boys. Aaron Rodgers, I don't even think the snow affects him the same as any humans. He's played so many games there in the snow. But, man, you can't look that good and not be number 1 or number 2.
Yeah.
So I've got them, and I've got Green Bay at number 2.
Okay. I'm going to go. That's a good point. I'm going to go with my gut. I'm going Buffalo Bills, baby.
I like it.
They just whooped the crap out of the Patriots. And I loved every second of it.
I don't blame
And
you.
they won me money, so I'm going to go.
That's another reason I was like, let me put him at 1.
I'm going to go the Bills. Josh Allen.
I don't blame you. It's interchangeable for me. I've got the Bills at number 3. Honestly, I think the top 3 teams might be interchangeable for me.
I think you 4.
That's fair, because you've got New Orleans at 4. So that means me too.
So, I have the Packers at 3, New Orleans at 4.
Isn't that funny? Just like 3 weeks ago, we were like, I don't even know outside the top 2 who you'd put in.
Yeah.
And now which I think, like you talking about college football, I think it just shows how up and down the league is. But those 3-4 teams have really caught steam in the last 4 or 5 weeks and looked really, really good. And then we have been saying the whole time about New Orleans, they look really good. If they look really good with Drew Brees back, then that's the true test. Mm-hmm. So, and they've looked really good.
Yep.
Now, number 5, who do you have?
This is tough for me. I got the Ravens.
Okay.
I'm staying away from Pittsburgh. They just...
I'm not even thinking about putting Pittsburgh in it. Mine is my number 5 is a hot take, but I feel okay with a hot take since I did classic for the first 4.
Okay.
So my hot take, and I can't decide which, both of them are hot takes. I can't decide which one. I think because of the division they're in, I've got to leave this one out. I'm going with Seattle.
Okay. I don't hate that.
Yeah, I just think most people have them back there behind
Yeah, they've...
Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
Yeah, I don't hate... They'd probably be number 6 for me.
Yeah.
They've played really good defense, and they're winning football games.
Yep.
Got a really good offense, good quarterback, good receivers. They found a running game with Carson.
Yep.
So, yeah, I like Seattle.
So it's 7 teams now instead of 6. So, I mean, I probably could sneak Tampa Bay in there, too.
Tampa Bay.
Dude, they look... It pisses me off that they look good. I just hate Tom Brady.
You wanted Belichick to be successful and Tom Brady not to be?
Well, what's funny is I think in 5 years, if Tom Brady's still playing in 5 years, I think Belichick will be just as successful. But it also, again, it shows how important... Because if you had I like Cam Newton, but if you had a competent quarterback, they also had a ton of people opt out.
And they don't have a lot of talent either.
No. But I think Bill Belichick, too, is just like... I don't think Bill Belichick does anything unplanned.
Right.
So...
Yeah, I agree with that. He's got something in the works.
Yeah.
He's going to figure out something for sure.
Okay, I'm trying to pull up the NFL playoff picture to see what it looks like now. Because there's a way that the Browns could miss.
I think the Titans can miss, right?
Could they miss or just not win the division?
I think if enough people lose or win,
It could ruin them.
I don't think they're for sure in. I don't think they've clinched yet. I don't think the Browns definitely haven't clinched. They probably won't get in
They probably won't get in.
because
Which cracks me up. I love Baker Mayfield, but that cracks me up.
because of the Jets. Good God, dude. How do you not beat the Jets? I would have won so much money. I'm so mad. No, I say a lot of money. It was like $25. Still, that's a lot of money to me.
That's a lot of money for the way we gamble.
Right. Yeah. I won that last night. I won
There you go.
right around $20 last night. Yeah.
Odds, guys. Come on. I'm not going to be able to find this now. I want to look at it. I should have looked at it before. Because this is when it gets like real fun when you're like, okay, this team wins. See, I think if the Colts had won last week, if I remember correctly, they would have won the division. So Tennessee wouldn't have even won the division.
So the winner wins the division.
Yeah. So right now it's got, this is I think how it is if it finished today. So Chiefs first round bye, Browns at 7, Bills at 2, Ravens at 6, Steelers at 3, Dolphins at 5, Titans at 4. So Browns are last in. And then it goes Packers at 1, Bears at 7, Saints at 2, Rams at 6, Seahawks at 3, Bucks at 5, football team at 4.
Who do the Browns play?
The Browns play the Steelers.
So they got to beat the Steelers to get in.
Yes. I don't know who would move. So if Indianapolis wins, that could shift the whole picture. Yeah. So the AFC is whack because you've got Titans at 10-5, Miami at 10-5, Baltimore at 10-5, Cleveland at 10-5, and Indianapolis at 10-5. And almost all those teams are in the mix. It's Tennessee's playing Houston. Who's Indianapolis playing?
They played the Titans.
No. Tennessee plays Houston this week.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I'm not sure who Indianapolis plays.
So Baltimore has to win. Cleveland has to win.
All those teams I mentioned are win and get in.
Indianapolis has to win, plus Baltimore has to lose or tie. Miami has to win, or like a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
This is all like or a bunch of stuff. Tennessee has to win, or Indianapolis has to lose.
Gotcha. And then the NFC is way more secure.
No, Tennessee clinches a berth with
a win.
They don't even have to win. It's Baltimore loss or a Miami loss. They clinch.
Oh, they clinch a spot, not
Yes,
the division.
correct.
Okay, yeah.
They clinch
Sorry.
the division with a win or an Indianapolis loss.
Gotcha. And then the NFC is pretty much
Locked in.
Arizona and Chicago could flip, I guess. And then
You got Washington and Dallas, right?
for the division,
Yeah.
yes.
The loser is out.
Yeah. Well, Washington plays Philadelphia. I don't know who Dallas plays. Who does Dallas play this week? I can't remember. So what? Dang. What would happen if they had beat Philadelphia last week?
So
Or they did beat Philadelphia.
Dallas,
They did beat Philadelphia. I keep doing that. I did
yeah.
that last night.
Dallas
backwards.
plays the Giants.
Okay. Oh, God. It's going to be another ugly game.
Yeah.
Okay. So is Jalen Hurts good enough to beat Washington? I don't know.
Well, they're pretty good up front, so I don't know. I don't really want him running around
Right.
getting tackled by some of those guys, but
All right. We got any more questions? We get to them all?
I think that's all we got
All right.
for now.
Favorite New Year's stories?
If you have questions that were in the chat, send them to us.
Hopefully I answered them throughout the show. I'm going to try to stay on Twitter and YouTube and
Okay,
comment
good
them. But
Good deal.
yeah, hopefully I got to them all. So, okay. New Year's stories.
My favorite New Year's memory.
Is this of me or of you?
It's of me. You're in something.
I didn't know if you were making fun of me or something.
Oh no,
Okay.
I would never do that. That's a lot. Singing. You never even call me by my name at Lonnie's.
That was one of the best performances.
In Nashville.
That's the best karaoke performance I've ever seen in my entire life.
A guy threw me his hat.
Landon didn't
His cowboy
even.
hat.
Landon was like in the moment.
Oh yeah, I was
It was
I was in my element.
It was an electric
sure.
performance. If you've never been to Lonnie's, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I'm sure most
maybe
people
wait till
have.
go after COVID because
Yeah.
I think there's a high chance you'd probably get it there. But and then my part of that same night is when we were walking and I throw up in front of the cops.
I didn't
you
see
wasn't with
this.
me.
I
Oh,
was
that was with
you,
Brody.
But I didn't see this, yeah.
I threw up right in front of a police car, and they just look at me, and I just walk off, and they just start dying laughing.
That was a fun night. It was
Looking
a tough
back,
night.
like that was.
We had
I
a-
should have been terrified, but I wasn't.
Right.
In that state.
that same night, we were. I don't think it was a karaoke stage. We're at some random bar in. What part of town is that? where like Tin Roof and stuff is.
Yeah.
The one near Vanderbilt. I don't know. I'm not very familiar with Nashville. I'm sorry. I was singing. It was not a karaoke stage. It was like a stage that had a microphone.
It was like a Sutries. Like they had games. And stuff.
And I was on. It was like a stage you build like your nieces and nephews or kids if you have them. It was like maybe 6 inches off the ground, and I was on there, and there was like a karaoke machine like in Chinese. Like, not an actual karaoke machine. And there's no one operating it. You just... Like, there were people coming up to me, because I sang, like, 6 songs. There were people coming up to me like, hey, it's our turn. And I'm like, nope. Peace. And I was up there for, like, an hour and a half.
You were the hired... what do they call it? Talent?
Oh, yeah, hired talent. Yeah. Oh, people were like, can we go? Nope. You can't even work the karaoke machine. Like, I was, like, playing songs through my phone in the microphone. Like, we played Soldier Boy. That was the year that if you played this song at exactly this moment, like, you'd crank that Soldier Boy at midnight. And I sang Soldier Boy going into...
Did you crank it at
I cranked it at midnight. I timed it perfectly. No, I didn't even know. Someone was like, it's new. Like, we were back there. Like, everyone makes a big deal about the ball drop. I've never cared. And everyone's like, Happy New Year! And I was like, Happy New Year, guys. Congrats.
Crank it.
That was a fun New Year's trip. That was
the walk home / late Uber ride.
That was miserable.
That was
a cold night in Nashville.
It was very cold.
Cold night in Nashville.
Also,
what about that New Year's that we went to Gatlinburg / Pigeon Forge?
That was weird.
That was a fun night.
We were at the island and we popped champagne bottles.
And people, they wasn't even like a thing. Like, they had just built it. And people were like, what is going on? I don't even know how we got to the island. We were in Gatlinburg for the longest time. And then
we ended up at a hotel room.
That sounds way worse than it is. It wasn't that bad.
It was pretty bad.
Okay. I just mean, you get it.
Yeah,
you get it.
It wasn't that bad, but it was a bad.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't have any great New Year's stories for good reasons.
I did learn that Southbound has 3 levels on New Year's.
On New Year's, yeah, you did learn that.
It was awesome. I don't even... Like, I remember dancing, but I think I was just, like, walking around, like, exploring. I was like, what else does this place have? They're just hiding from us. 364 days out of the year.
Not a big Southbound guy, so I'm good. You can stay hidden.
Yeah. I'm not either anymore.
Landon's a huge Southbound guy.
I'd go.
Don't let him tell you anything. The Vols will lose, and he'll be at Southbound.
If Caleb was like, hey, you want to go to Southbound or not? I'd go.
The good news is Caleb will never say that, so
he won't.
Don't worry. All right, Stupidity. Besides Landon going to Southbound, Stupidity's an epidemic. I got my first one. You might have seen this. It made its rounds on Twitter today. Rick Carlisle he covers Alabama football, tweeted, Alabama football coach Nick Saban held his Rose Bowl game newser today, and reporter addressed him as "Ha Saban." He said his name is Coach Saban, not Nick, not Saban. Here's why, and wrote an article. And then in the guy's Twitter bio says, "I once went fishing with Nick Saban."
What?
No clue. He also, in his tweet, addressed him as Nick Saban. But he said his name is Coach Saban. So which is it? Also, why is your bio so weird?
He thought it was that bad where he had to write an article for it?
I don't know, man. I didn't click the link, so I guess it was an article. But did you see the rounds where people are like, what's the most random thing you've done with like a famous person? Do you have any? I don't think I have any random stories about famous people.
With a famous person?
Yeah, just like random. Like, I've been fishing with Nick Saban. I don't think I have anything like that. I would like to have a Tequila Tuesday experience with Ross Kivett, so that'd be random.
I've met Lee Corso.
We need a... Oh, yeah, you met him at the football club thing?
Yeah.
Quarterback club? Do you think he... How old was he then?
He's pretty old.
Like 85.
Yeah. And it's still at that time, I don't think he really knew what was going on.
Good for him.
He was just there.
Yeah, good for him. I've had some random encounters. I guess if we're talking, well, no, that's not. I met him, but I didn't. One time I was
He also met my dad and told my dad congratulations.
Congratulations. That's like the most old man, like, famous thing. Like, if I'm, like, someone asked me to come speak at a dinner, I just tell everyone congratulations. I'm like, congratulations. Congratulations.
Speaking of that, I felt like, I guess it's just us getting old, but, like, at work, I've asked everybody, did y'all have a good Christmas? I'm like, that's so dad of me.
Such an old man thing to ask.
It's like, and no one's ever going to say it was terrible. Yeah, how was yours?
You're going to get that person now that's going to be, like, brutally honest with you. It's like, dude, I just said it to make conversation. I just said it to be like, It was essentially saying hey to you. Mm-hmm. But they're going to be like, oh, it was terrible. And then tell you why.
And now sometimes I'm like, man, hopefully that weather gets better over the weekend. I'm just like, who gives a rat's ass?
You want to hear about my terrible Christmas? One time.
Oh, so you didn't have a good Christmas.
This year. This was an old Christmas. And it actually wasn't that bad because if you guys don't know, Copper Cellar on the Strip or Cumberland Grill, whatever you want to call it, Jim Chaney probably knows this, is open on Christmas Eve and Christmas. So Christmas, I was supposed to go to like my sister's for Christmas Eve and stay there overnight, like stay for Christmas with her family. And I got really I was probably like stomach bug. Like I wouldn't have a fever, didn't have anything. I was just throwing up, threw up like once, probably. I was actually the first COVID patient. This was like 2016. Nice. I'd feel good in spurts, feel bad in spurts. So I was like, I'm not gonna go be around shit's kids. I'm not gonna be around our kids because I don't know what it is. But I will go because I didn't have food at the house. I was like, I will go to Copper Cellar. It was like a block away from my apartment at the time. I will go to Copper Cellar and drink on Christmas Eve until they close and eat, and I did. Well, they didn't open Christmas Day until like 5 o'clock or something like that. I was like, I'll go back there, obviously. So I was like, I need to get food. Nothing's open. So I went to Pilot on the Strip.
Oh.
And I didn't have like anything other than snacks, but they did have a hot dog, like on the rollers. I had one bite and I threw it away at the gas station. Nope. It was the worst hot dog I've ever had. It ruined my Christmas. That's how Jimmy Haslam's hot dog ruined my Christmas.
Oh, man.
You know what you got to do to ruin a man's Christmas? Copper Cellar made it up. Shout out to Copper Cellar.
A Pilot hot dog sounds like kind of your fault. There.
You just look at it on a roller. Oh, it was a terrible decision. Like, I'm not saying I made the right decision. I'm just saying I made a decision and it was bad. You see it roll. It looks warm. It's like a good glizzy. And then, especially when you're hungry, I probably had thrown up already that morning. Like, it looked like an okay decision to make, and nope, it was a terrible decision. Terrible decision.
God, yeah, it gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah, don't. Weigel's Pizza, great. So, Weigel's Pizza is like the hero, and Pilot Hot Dogs is the villain. Yeah.
So Pilot Hot Dogs are the Haslams.
Yes. I'm shocked 0% that they make that food their locale. All right. Stupidity.
Yeah, Stupidity. Bleacher Report said, how many points are the Mavs beating the Clippers by? And it's a picture of 21 Savage and J. Cole.
What does that mean?
So there's a song, and it's like, how many something a lot. So they're trying to do that, but it's just of those two. So it looks like they're saying, how many points are the Mavs and how many points are the Mavs beating the Clippers by? 21 Savage Cole. Like, it doesn't look like it makes any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, how many people understood the reference? I definitely wouldn't have understood
I had to go in the comments because I was like, what are you trying
So that makes me feel better because you probably listen to that music more than I do.
Yeah,
you definitely do. But so that makes me feel better.
When they said a lot, I got it. Right. I was just like...
But you also didn't because...
Right. And I also listen to that music, so it's just like, that's bad.
Exactly.
It's bad.
So you didn't get it.
No. I had to go like an old person does and go in the comments.
I do that all the time. Especially like on Instagram. There's so many like things I don't get. I don't understand the reference. Speaking of that, which people probably didn't get it, I thought I had a great tweet. I'll show you later. Last night, no big deal. Any other stupidities?
I think that's actually all I got. Just Bleacher Report, man. I did find it hilarious that the South Carolina players didn't want to play for Mike Bobo.
And they're going to have to play for Mike Bobo still.
And then,
They
not
probably-
only that, then they brought Will Friend over.
Yeah, that too. Well, I mean, I've been saying it, because since Brian Kelly said the stupid ish about, well, we may not play if our families won't be there. You're gonna play in the college football playoff. Are you gonna play in the Cheez-It Bowl if your parents can't be there? You may not want
The
to play.
Gasparilla Bowl.
Yes, you probably will have at 3-7. Tennessee didn't want to play. Yeah, they'll try and pass that up best they can, but not. If Tennessee's playing in the college football playoff, they would not have passed it up.
I would have been
For
there.
anything.
I would have been there.
For anything. So,
Would you have paid to go?
hell yeah. And I would have used a credit card and then just used my stimulus. Donald Trump would have paid for my trip. I'm already trying to parlay that $600 the moment it hits my account.
It could be 2,000.
They said no today. Or
Oh, they
yesterday.
did?
Yeah. It's not 100% off the table. But
I thought it went. So it passed one and went to.
yeah, 600 passed. And then they tried to add on, I don't know how to, someone can comment if they know exactly how it worked, but the 2,000 went to the Senate or whatever, and freaking Mitch McConnell, old mother effer, said no. So,
Big Kentucky guy.
yeah. I mean, it was more than Mitch McConnell, but it's easy to blame Mitch McConnell. And I did make the joke, because I want to bet on FanDuel that maybe he shouldn't have won. Tonight, I was like, FanDuel give me more stimulus than Mitch McConnell. So, but, the irony of all that is the $600 is going right in my FanDuel account, so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to make it $2,000. I'm trying to get there. Donald Trump's gonna make me earn the $2,000. I'm gonna have to parlay that 600 into $2,000. I'll do it gladly.
Yeah, it's fine.
Gladly,
Appreciate it.
guys. Appreciate y'all listening. Go Vols, undefeated, kicking off a great win tonight versus Cuonzo Martin. I hope we don't have to be back with y'all after the game to recap. I mean, I think it's the right thing to do to fire Jeremy Pruitt. No one likes to reset. Resetting's not fun.
Yeah, I just want some clarity. That's all.
That's
I want.
fair too. Clarity would be nice. So I guess I would be a little relieved of it.
Yeah, I just want a decision.
That's fair.
Whatever it is, let's move on.
Do you think
from
they
where we're at
drop it
now.
right before the basketball game, or what do you think they do?
It'll probably be
how do they
right in the
handle
middle of it, like everything else is, because it's stupid and no one understands.
that? Right.
Just love it. It's never a dull day in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Nope.
100%. Guys, I will see y'all at 11:30 with G-Man Vols tweeting out Cuonzo in all caps. Love it. Go Vols. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.